All right, welcome everybody. We're back with another day of Iesf, and we are here for the Asian Regional Qualifiers. My name is Anders, and I'm here with Neo Kai. How are you doing, Neo? It's a good day for you?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, we've got some pretty interesting perspectives here when we look towards both the regions that we're going to be covering. One of them we were kind of had a little touch on, which is in Southeast, which is where we're going to be starting. We'll come to maybe the ramifications of that a little bit later. But for now, I'm feeling good. There's going to be some good Counter-Strike. We had some good Counter-Strike yesterday. Can't complain, really.
Yeah, we got to learn a bunch of new things that we weren't expecting. Obviously, I think the real surprise was probably the Uzbekistan and Kyrgyzstan game that was going on. It was very not what we thought, but obviously Uzbekistan did end up winning it. So I guess we're all happy on that front. But that was definitely surprising and interesting. We're going to see a new team today we haven't seen today or yet. Yesterday we didn't get the chance to see what Brunei were doing, but I'm definitely excited to see how they play and just get a sense of what the country is going to be representing here. Obviously, we're trying to find teams to send to Chengdu, China for the sort of last stage qualifier, and then we're going to send teams to Riyadh at the end of the year. So it's going to be quite a long process to get there, but there's a lot on the line. So we want to find the best teams, the best countries possible to send to the Iesf World Championship. That's going to be towards the end of the year.
Exactly. Let's take a look at the schedule for today and see what kind of games we're going to be looking at as we head into a beautiful day of action. We have got, of course, for us, we're going to be covering the Brunei-Vietnam game, while Malaysia and Thailand are playing as well. We haven't caught Brunei just yet, so we're going to check in with them and see how they do against Vietnam. We got to see Vietnam a little bit yesterday, and they were pretty damn good. Then our second game as well, we looked towards Kazakhstan versus Uzbekistan, which is a bit of a banger. That's arguably the two best teams in that region, right? Where, I mean, both of them should qualify regardless, but I think yesterday, after how, maybe to a degree, how shaky Uzbekistan looked at one point, I would probably say, in my opinion, Kazakhstan are the better of the two. They're a team under an org, etc., etc. So I look at that one as a pretty interesting matchup. Uzbekistan, they said that they can hang with them. They said they feel like they're better than them. So, some bold claims, it has to be said, that we saw from Seka at the tail end. So I'm interested to see what they can bring. And then, of course, we've got one final game at the end of the day. It's best of threes. So, yeah, nice and easy.
Yeah, I'm low-key. I'm also, obviously, Kyrgyzstan is another team that we didn't get to see, so that's going to be fun too. But I'm also like that Malaysia and Thailand game could be kind of interesting, right? So I'm looking forward to seeing if Thailand can find a way to recover a little bit. I think we had some expectations for them that maybe they didn't live up to, but they're going to have a chance to see how that plays out. I mean, we'll see the results at any rate, but yeah, a lot on the line, and I don't know if we're going to be catching the Turkmenistan game at the end of it, but that's another team that we didn't quite get to see what they had to bring. So, yeah, the schedule is packed once again. I definitely think we're going to see some more interesting Counter-Strike once again, and just get to learn some new names. What was your highlight? Was there a player that stood out yesterday that you really enjoyed watching?
There was a couple, actually, in all fairness. I mean, I got to kind of highlight him again, Iesf, right? He had a really good map in all fairness, like 23-12, even though it was a close game. I think it kind of felt at one point, if it wasn't for him, I don't know if they would have been able to be as clean as we kind of expected out of them. But then over towards, for example, Malaysia, I thought Chow was incredible. I thought he looked very, very solid. Very nuts. Reliable, I guess, probably the best way to put it. And yeah, I think for Malaysia, for their 2 wins yesterday, he was a big factor in it.
Yeah, he was one of the standout players. That was really fun to get a chance to see. I thought was his Pumpkin was another interesting player that
youngster Kazakhstan.
Exactly, yeah. The like with the AWP, that was just really fun to see. Wasn't expecting it, didn't have any real thoughts coming into it, but it was a real revelation. So it could be fun to see him get to face some tougher opposition when they play Uzbekistan. So hopefully we'll get to see a little bit of that. This is the game at hand, though. Brunei versus Vietnam. Again, a super interesting matchup. Hopefully Brunei are ready, because Vietnam looked like a fairly solid team. Like, they know what they're doing over there.
They did. No choice about it. I mean, we look at it, and honestly, for me, I'm a little concerned. Brunei didn't offer a huge amount yesterday. They had some pretty tough games. No two ways about it. And I think that's the big thing when I look at this. They've really got to try and dig deep and find something, opening series playing against Malaysia. Malaysia have been the best team here so far, at least from this region, but it was 13-1, 13-2 on Anubis and Nuke. In their second game, they'll play against Thailand, who maybe arguably are even the second best team, or at least joint with Vietnam, and that one was 13-3. 13-4. So some tough games, right? I think is the main thing. And Vietnam are a side who actually looked very decent yesterday. They beat Thailand in what potentially felt like a bit of an upset in my eyes, and then took a map off Malaysia. Malaysia looks so good that even that itself felt pretty damning. And Inferno is a really good pocket pick for that Vietnam side. They're very solid on it. But let's take a look at the rosters. We haven't really caught Brunei yet, so we get to take a look at a bit of a new team for us, which is going to be pretty damn sick. I'm interested to see what these guys can bring. However, these guys, from my understanding, play under an organization called Goodfellas Game. So I rate the team name, and I'm interested to see what they can bring to the table.
Yeah, I am too. And you're right, that's a pretty good name. So we've got Daber King, I'm assuming that's what it is. Casper, Axter, and Trigger Happy, and then Conan. So again, names that are reasonable, we can work with it. That's always something that we're happy about over here. Trigger Happy, definitely a wild name. You gotta assume his teammates are gonna be worried, like stay out of line of sight, don't get team killed. But I'm excited to see how this is gonna be playing out. Again, I think it's always really fun to catch new players that we haven't necessarily seen before, and just get some new names into our brains, and you never know where it goes, right? Sometimes you see a player, and then 2 or 3 years later you see them again, and they've gone somewhere else, and it's fun to catch up with. So it's a great opportunity here for Iesf to do exactly that. And if they play really well, then they can make it all the way to Riyadh, which is obviously it's a tough road to get there, but it's possible.
Yeah, exactly. Let's take a look at Vietnam. Of course, we got to catch these guys yesterday, and honestly, I was very impressed. There's actually a lot to like on this Vietnam side. They're very puggy, they're very aggressive. For me, one guy that stands out is Prodigy. I thought he was consistently really, really solid. Cage at his moments as well, and I think this is a team for me, at the very least, that actually do offer up a lot. They are a team that you actually expect would kind of, in the style in which they play, which is so relentlessly aggressive, actually maybe levels up on land, right? They always talk about, people like, Tantaris, for example. The second he gets on land, he's just an absolute beast because he's so hard to play against when he's swinging at you. That's how Vietnam like to play. It's very puggy, very swing heavy. They love to rely on fights early doors, and honestly, it brings a pretty exciting counter-strike. Brunei, when they kind of come up against the Vietnam side, they've sort of got to be guns up from the get-go because they will fight you in the first 10 seconds.
Yeah, you got to be ready, otherwise you're going to get run over. I agree with Prodigy. Like, we saw him in a bunch of different weapons, but I think what really stood out to me was some of the deagle shots that we saw, funnily enough. Just really reliable with that weapon, so makes him kind of dangerous even in rounds where they don't have a lot of money on the Vietnam side. He can still be potentially a lethal factor. So yeah, it was fun, really interesting to see. Something that it's a name that maybe I forgot a little bit about, but that's true. He definitely played super well. I think Vietnam are a dangerous team right now, so I wouldn't be surprised if they're going to be doing well in this game. But we've got a chance to find out here, no question. It's a best of 3 as well, I believe. So they're going to be tested to the limit, both teams, which obviously what we want out of a qualifier. What are your expectations? Do you have a sense? I think Brunei had a tough game yesterday, didn't they? They had a game where they didn't do too well.
They had 31-13-2 in their first map against Malaysia, against Thailand, 13-13-4. So, not great. They've got 10 rounds so far. I'm very heavily leaning in favor of Vietnam. I do have a pretty interesting proposition, though, that I want to discuss about
go on.
Basically where Southeast Asia is standing right now. So Vietnam heavily expected to win here against Brunei, right? So let's just assume that happens. You don't always want to assume, but let's just assume it does. That puts Vietnam 2-1. If Thailand beat Malaysia, then Thailand, Vietnam, and Malaysia all find themselves 2-1. So it's a 3-way tie for 1 spot available. We're yet to get confirmed of what it is. My assumption would then come down to round difference, which at the moment Malaysia's is pretty good. But, it could very easily not be good. In a sense, Vietnam's is about to get leveled up if the games go the same way that they did yesterday, with Thailand and Malaysia. Vietnam beat Thailand ended up beating these guys 13-3, 13-4. So the expectations that Vietnam can do basically the same sort of thing. So then we're talking about Vietnam, we've got a plus 10 round difference right now. That getting, leveled up in a kind of a multitude of ways. Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting proposition. It all comes down to one thing, though. Thailand have to beat Malaysia, and that seems like it shouldn't really happen. Malaysia looked so good yesterday.
They really did, yeah. But it's fun to think about the fact that there could be some real complications down the road. And it also means some of those games that suddenly, it's not just about winning, but it's about winning a lot. Like, any round you give up could suddenly everyone looks through the math at the end and you say, oh, we just needed 2 more rounds and we were 1 round difference. So, you don't want to end up in that position. That's interesting. I do love that drama. It's fun when those kind of it's never fun when you're the team that gets eliminated 2 round difference, but I guess that's just how it plays out. When you start. All right. Yeah, I don't know. Malaysia really surprised me. They really played well. But we did talk about the region having a lot of Counter-Strike going really far back. So maybe we shouldn't have been too surprised. Thailand, I still think they definitely could have won their first game, right? I think it looked to me like there was a real chance there, but obviously they couldn't quite do it. But they didn't get completely rolled either. So I wouldn't be surprised if Thailand are going to be a little bit better today. I hope they will.
Yeah, I mean, I look at this as well for me with Thailand as a team. They're under the NKT banner. It's a pretty respectable organization within the region. I mean, arguably, I actually expect a little bit more. I kind of put them as my favorites coming into this because it's a big organization of being kind of very predominant in the region. The Malaysian guys I haven't really heard of, but before coming into this, but they've thoroughly impressed me in all fairness. Yeah, and the way they have been 100%. Playing, I do expect them to kind of move on forward and win. But yeah, I maybe expect a little bit more out of Thailand. The opening game wasn't great. But you are right. They probably at times should have won it. I mean, we look towards maybe the Inferno and say, fair enough. But then they picked in towards Ancient. And we would sit here saying, right, this has got to be, a map in which you guys feel like is confident for you. And then you just get battered 13-4. Yeah. It makes you think that, I think they lost from the veto, not from the way they played. They were actually pretty decent players. But the decision-making was a little weird maybe in the veto because Ancient didn't look comfortable for them. And they kind of got rolled by Vietnam. So, interesting stuff there. Well, when we get towards it as well with Brunei, I mean, Brunei so far, maps that they have played is Ancient Dust 2 in their game against Thailand, and then Anubis and Nuke against Malaysia. They've really been playing kind of all the maps. So they're maybe sort of happy to kind of go anywhere, see what's good. I'd probably hope and assume they try and lean in favor of some of the puggier maps, your Mirages. Inferno, in a loose term, Vietnam are very good at that map, so maybe not so much the Inferno. Maybe you actually want to ban that, in all fairness. But yeah, lean towards puggy maps, like a Dust 2, for example. Maps that you guys all kind of know.
I want to see that too. I've got a question for you. Do you have a sense of like the population size of these 2 countries, Vietnam and Brunei? Because I've got to be honest, like I obviously Googled it, so I know now. But sure. But I was off by a lot. So like, if you get to ballpark it, how many people live in Brunei?
So Brunei is going to tell. Vietnam, I actually roughly do know because one of my good friends lives in Ho Chi Minh. And I asked them about like Ho Chi Minh and Hanoi and stuff like that. So I know it's roughly around 100 million or just under.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, 98. We'll call it 100. That's fine. Yeah,
sure. Easy. Brunei, I know it's smaller. If I'm right in saying population-wise,
definitely.
I'm going to go considerably smaller. I'm going to say like 6 mil. That's my random guess.
See, that something like that would have been sort of like, that's about the population of Denmark. I thought it was a small country, something like that. It's actually about 500,000 people. So it's way smaller than I was expecting. Yeah. So I would have been way off on that prediction too. I think I would have been off on Vietnam too, to be honest as well. But it's kind of it's interesting to think about. But I hope we get, in the future we get lands in some of these countries. Like I want to go to Brunei. I want to go to Vietnam for some esports. I think that could be super interesting.
Brunei now, I'm looking at it now. It's actually tiny. I think if I had maybe looked at a map first, I didn't realize, how small of a part of Indonesia, that whole island it is, right? It's actually kind of insane. That's pretty cool. But yeah, you're spot on, man. I mean, we had a little time yesterday looking at kind of pictures of Brunei. It looks gorgeous. It's like a very pretty
absolutely.
Place. I'm sure it has pretty nice weather as well. That part of the world, I'm sure it's pretty hot. I mean, that's the life, really. The temperature right now in Brunei is a nice. It's 3 p.m. 30 degrees.
The humidity is off the charts. But I mean, again, like you touch down once you've been there for a couple of days, it's fine. You adjust, you're acclimatized to the whole thing. Yeah. But yeah, like I would love it if we had more events in some of these areas that we don't get to go to too often, right? Because in esports, the calendar, you kind of end up going to the same places, which is fine. Stockholm is cool. Cologne is cool. Like but I would love to try and go to some of these other places. That'd be cool. And again, like I think doing the grassroots element, we've talked about this in the past too. But I think it's one of the cool things about Iesf is that every country has their own organization, their own structure. That they have to have that to work with Iesf. And I think that's a nice way to do it because it means you have some esports infrastructure in a country that allows for future projects to be built in all kinds of ways. So I think it's pretty positive. I like the idea of it, and yeah, it's still in the early stages, but hopefully we can build something over the years and make it a little bit more professional in that sense. The game is still, just warming up, so we're getting everyone in the server, and then hopefully we'll be good to go in a couple of seconds with our first game of the day. But yeah, am I right in saying you are going to Vietnam at some point anyway?
I am, I'm going. I'll double check the date right now, but it's in August. I'm going towards the tail end, I'm pretty sure. Like the 25th of August until like the 1st September. It should be good. I'm doing a different game. I'm doing a game that you don't really see that much these days called Crossfire, which should be fun. That's in Hanoi, Vietnam, which my friend, very well-traveled guy, his dad lived in Malaysia at one point, now lives in Hong Kong for like work and stuff. He spends a lot of time in Southeast Asia, and he said Hanoi is his top 3 favorite cities in the world.
Nice.
And he's pretty well-traveled. So yeah, he said it's very different to anything we would see in kind of the West. It's pretty cool. One thing I'm very excited for as well is my granddad did this years ago. So we have a lot of family in Australia. And Vietnam is actually a pretty popular place to stop over. You do it's actually it's cheaper to stop in Vietnam for like a day or two and then take your second part of your flight basically
that makes sense.
Australia. So my uncle got married in Australia and they stopped over in Vietnam, and you can get tailored suits, top genuine great quality as well. Like it's not like cheap materials. It's like very good materials. Full tailored suits, 24 hours, bang, bang, and cheap as well. So I'm quite excited. I'm going to be coming back with like 3 different suits, like 5 tailored shirts. I'm going to be loving life. So I'm looking forward to that side of things. That should be fun.
Yeah, hell yeah. You said that they don't feel like sort of Western cities. That's what I love the most. I like going to visit places that just feel different, and that I enjoy that. I don't want to go and see like the popular touristy stuff. I hate that. Take me somewhere local and let me experience something like that. I think it's way more fun. So I'm a little bit envious, but maybe I'll get a chance to go to Vietnam at some point too. I hope so.
Exactly. There's one famous thing that you might have seen at some point, which is it's like a street where people like have coffee and street food and whatever, and then the train comes right through the middle of it. It's like next to so that's in Hanoi. So kind of looking forward to seeing that. That should be pretty sick. That's like one of those things where it's probably gonna be very touristy, but at the same time kind of worth seeing, because when are you gonna see like a train come past
No, it's a famous scenario. Okay, well, I look forward to seeing some of the pictures that you're going to send from when you're over there.
But then as well, right, Chengdu, this seems to be a new popular place for esports as well. We had IM Chengdu earlier in the year. Now we've got ISF Asia Championships in Chengdu. That seems like a sick city. I've been looking at kind of a few pictures about it. So, obviously winner of this game, of this tournament, and I say goes to Chengdu. There's only one spot available, but that seems like a cool place as well. I'm very excited to see what's going on in China.
Yes, I've never been to Chengdu either, but I look forward to it. Here we got some picks and bans coming up for our best of 3. Vertigo is immediately slaughtered. I'm not surprised. Nobody's surprised any longer. I guess it's interesting to see Anubis getting punished here. That was picked a fair bit yesterday, but we're not going to get a chance to see it here today, which is fair enough. Like we said, maps like Mirage, Dust 2 was mentioned by you, and it's Brunei that's going to be able to pick it up early on. So that makes a lot of sense. I don't really mind that. I think it's probably a good idea to pick something that's a little bit comfort pick, a map that almost everybody in the Counter-Strike world can play to some extent.
Yeah, standard pick coming through. I said, if you're Brunei, go for something comfortable, go for a Dust 2. That's what they do. I'm glad they do that as well. It's a map in which it's very popular in the region, but also I think you just got to play to your strengths, play to the slightly more puggier maps. We see Mirage pick in though. I'm actually very surprised that Vietnam don't pick in towards Inferno, because honestly, it was a really good, map for them yesterday. They 2 for 2. It looked very solid. It looked like a map which at least they felt very comfortable on. The fact that they pick into Mirage, I don't hate. It's a very similar map in terms of the way it goes about, but I would have just assumed anyway that they would have felt like, another Vertigo pick. They don't go for it. They go for Mirage. Just get banned up by Brunei. And Ancient, our decider. Now, Ancient was also very good in that opening series for Vietnam. And there's let's be realistic here. I think, looking at this, it's a puggy map. Vietnam were crisp as all hell yesterday. My expectation, a 2-0 here for Vietnam. For Brunei, they really struggled to get going. And I think that's one of those things that, unless something drastic has changed, it might be a similar sort of story heading in towards this one.
I wouldn't be surprised if we end up with that kind of result either. I'm always willing to be persuaded that it's going to be different, but yeah, that's probably the right idea that we're going for there. All the maps aside, Vietnam looked like a really, really solid team, and just from what we can gather from the result yesterday for Brunei, it's probably going to be a bit of a hard game for them, but we'll see. It's a new day. Maybe they can surprise us. Maybe they can show us something different. But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing, if they've got even just one or two standout players that have a little bit more. And it's fun to see the overall level. Like when we were doing the North African qualifier, we noticed that there was a huge discrepancy. Some of the countries there definitely were looking a lot crisper and kind of knew what they were doing a lot more. And it's just fun to take the temperature of these different countries and get a sense of where Counter-Strike is and where it's going. And we'll check back with them next year and see if things have improved since then. So, yeah, but I imagine it will be Vietnam with a pretty good day. We'll get some more Deagle shots maybe coming out from Prodigy. That's always fun.
Yeah, it is one of kind of the beautiful things when I look at these sort of competitions. Why we kind of, we came back for Iesf. We were here in Yash, Romania last year. It was very fun. It was very fun, in all fairness. And we got to see some really, really, really cool Counter-Strike. I mean, we got to catch Uzbekistan make a playoff run, which was unexpected to us, at least at the time. And then, we saw them in the server. We understood kind of why. The question is, how do teams continue on from successes of last year, or on the other side, like you kind of said, when things go wrong, how are they able to say, right, back to the drawing board, next year we'll make an our year. So yeah, looking forward to kind of seeing how teams and all this improve. And the big thing as well of ISF is it should hopefully inspire new generations of players to come play Counter-Strike, play the best game in the world, right? Simple as that. The best esport. There's no debate about it. And then love a bit of it. We're on the way though, straight into the action. Brunei fight out via long, and my God. This is one that has not worked very well for Vietnam at all. They have been completely overwhelmed.
Well, we all know holding those long pushes could be difficult at times, so they don't really get a chance to do it here. Bomb is making its way up, and they're setting up quite nicely in the after plant. Maybe a little bit aggressive down towards the long position, but as we can kind of tell on the mini-map, it's not going to make a big difference this time because Vietnam are not even trying to go for it. They're saying, you know what, we got some Kevlar here. We'll just save that. We're not going to try and win this round anyway. So, wow, that was right quick. We're already through the round.
Yeah, that was, pretty fast. I mean, Brunei just do the age-old classic. They're straight out into us long. Take a little fight. Nice and easy. And all in all, cannot complain. So, for a start now of this kind of caliber for Brunei, who had a pretty rough go of things yesterday, this is as good as it gets, right? You get an opening round on the T side. Nobody dies as well. So you kind of can come back in towards this next round with a really fully fledged buy, and you can start to put some decent pressure on the shoulders of Vietnam. Bit of a fight there. Axter gets a dink, but not enough for the round, or for the kill, may I say. They still get the round. So Brunei, good start. First on the board. They get a buyout here as well. Vietnam, I'd normally assume you'd want to eco here, but looks like they are going to go for a force. Now, Anders, I have a thing, right? And this is my number one pet peeve in competitive Counter-Strike, is CT sides force buying when they lose the pistol round. It to me, doesn't make any sense. And I have a thing about it where I said actually after the player break, so I guess starting now, in all fairness, we didn't actually see it happen yesterday. So I guess starting now, I want to count how many teams do it and then how successful it is.
Okay,
so far,
I keep a little bit of math.
Not so good.
Well, it was just the one from us, I guess, some deagles on the rest of them, but it's so risky. Obviously, the potential reward is interesting. Like, you get to throw off the whole game if you do it, but I probably agree. Like, you have to be so confident, or you have to have like a really sick strategy where it's, it's something that we haven't really seen so often. But if you just buy it and stretch out a little bit, it's probably not going to work out so well. And it didn't. Brunei coming up with the second round here. I'm really impressed. Going to be a third round, and yeah, it's going to cost them here. The fact that they are not able to have the rifles that they need.
So I was going to add one of those, that one, to my failed tally of the fourth by wars. I had a conversation with, who was it? I think it was Cypher. I had a conversation with Cypher, and I asked him, why do teams do it? Because to me, it doesn't make any sense. But like, why is this a common thing? And essentially what he was saying was, but he said it's better to have a full buy with full util than have a full buy here where you actually can't have full util, or you have to go into like, you know, maybe Galils or things of that sort of nature. So that's their mindset. Is they actually think it's better to have that full buy with util, which in all fairness, I understand. But for me, I cast a hell of a lot of Counter-Strike, a lot of it online in the tier 2 space. You know, average maybe like a best of 3 a day is kind of what the average year looks like for me. And the amount of times I see it happen, and I swear it like never works. It's like frustrating to this point. So I said at the end of the player break, I was like, right, I'm going to make a tally, and I'm going to go for the next 6 months, all the way up until, you know, end of the season in December. And every single time a team does it, I'm just going to put a little counter and just say how many failed, how many successful, and then work out a percentage and say this is the percentage of teams, because it's my number one pet peeve, and I mention it every broadcast when it happens because it just annoys me. So there we go, another one. So the first one of my tally started for Vietnam here. A big chunky nade there as well.
Yeah, that was very nice, but still is a 3 versus 3. They're gonna get. Oh, surely no. KG actually does get the kill. I was gonna say they surely get that one on him at least. They did have a smoke up towards CT spawn, so I don't think there was much that Sora could have done there with the Deagle. At least the bomb is going to be going down here, but this is still a little bit of a scary round. I feel like Vietnam might be thinking, all right, we're going to go for it. At least we're going to try and get a bit close to try and do some damage here. 2 versus 2. No kit in play, but the bomb is only just planted. So there definitely is a way. A little bit of a setup here, trying to get the crossfire in. Dave the King trying to see if he do anything, but there's one kill, trying to find him in the corner. He gets the headshot as well, and he'll be on the bomber with enough time for the defuse. So that's a little bit of a stinging situation there for Brunei, because they needed this round. I think letting Vietnam a little bit early back into it is not a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing for me is when I look at this, well, what I've seen so far is that I'm, so far kind of pleasantly surprised in a way by Brunei. I mean, yesterday they got 3 rounds in their opening best of 3, and then 7 rounds in their second best of 3. I mean, on paper, it doesn't look good. There's no two ways about it. We're not trying to, be harsh here. It's just the truth, right? It doesn't look that great. But so far, they've looked pretty competitive. They know the pop flashes. They know the lineups. They at least know how to play off each other. And even small things like this, which we didn't really see against maybe some of the weaker teams when we kind of covered Africa, for example. They were just a little bit more basic in terms of how they approached it. So far, I'm pretty impressed. I mean, Brunei at least look more competitive than I maybe is assumed off the back of those scorelines alone. That's what, can't judge a book by its cover.
No, it's good to see. Again, like we don't know much about the state of Counter-Strike in some of these countries, so this is our chance to really test it out, to learn. Again, a population of about 500,000 people, so they're going to need to feel their very best here to make a real impact. Bit of a lean on the defensive side here for Vietnam, right? They are heavily on towards that A-bomb side at the moment. They've got 2 people that can rotate in from CT spawn. Very forward position with the other AWP towards the upper dark hallway there with the B-bomb side, which is with KG. So he's going to be there knowing that there's nothing there. Like, I'm not hearing any footsteps. There's no one really here. So they can keep this A lean at the moment. And it looks like it's going to help them out quite a bit. So this should be very, very hard for Brunei to make their way through.
Swing on the corner. KJ lining them up and dropping them down. Beautiful work. And Exeter will fall in a similar sort of fashion. That's a beautiful little lineup. A beautiful little round, and he's looking for the 4th as well. Give it to him, and he rips off the head for the last. Beautiful work. Honestly, individual brilliance there from KJ. And Vietnam tie this game up 2 rounds apiece.
That was a very, very smooth spray. Yeah, look at this. Just so good. You like those like long range sprays. You should feel so sick when it lands like that. No problems at all. Good quad kill as well coming out, and Vietnam on for a second round. We're going to tie up this game, and they deny the bomb plant as well. So not going to be any money for Brunei to play around with here. Yeah, going to be a little bit more awkward. Swing in the corner. Flash is good, but AJ this time into, well, oh, that's an awkward little trade there. The flash that comes back from the T side is
at least keeping this competitive, but that's the bomb spotted now too.
Yeah, they know what they need to know. Actor going down at the end. No real surprise here. Although the double up setup is a funny thing to see, right? In sort of the regular circuit of Counter-Strike, it's been happening basically less and less. There are some maps where it's picked up, but it just very often you don't get to see it. Dust 2 might be one of the few maps left where it does make an appearance, so that's always fun. I do like the double up setup. It does make it interesting to watch. It has like the big upside with the rounds you can win sometimes just by the AWPs alone. But obviously in retake scenarios, having 2 AWPs can be quite rough. So it's not all positives in that sense. Nice grenades out long for Vietnam. They've got the Molotovs, they got the smoke being thrown over from basically CT spawn, so they've got it all lined up. Nice shot. Prodigy will do a little bit more damage. Pulls out the deagle. We know he can do it. Oh my god! We'll take down a third player. He's very low on health, but still, that's impressive.
Exeter up close now with this P250, hoping to kind of catch somebody off guard. I don't know if that's going to be happening here. I say that different. The labored spray gets caught. Gonna help the AWP coming back in, and KG, brilliant work here. Looking for more. Knows he's on the corner as well. Does fall. AWP should be collected back up, and it will, so it's not the end of the world. 4-2. And Vietnam take a 2-round lead.
Yeah, they're in the zone now. You can kind of tell. And that's the problem for the trouble for Brunei here, isn't it? That they need to keep them low. They need to keep the economy low on the Vietnam side, which is already a problem. It's more than 10,000 actually in Prodigy. So yeah, they need to be a little bit worried. You see this kind of individual performance. We did highlight him before we got into the game as well. Prodigy. We knew that he was going to be good, and this is definitely super scary. 4-2, and round number 7 is coming up here, and already we've got Casper and another player down and out before they even get a chance to get into the round.
Swing. Oh, it's not bad. Prodigy gets caught. Really still a doable round, potentially. Molotov, though, will stop them swinging out. And the fight behind it is actually pretty brilliant there from Different. Nice and easy as he gets his one. Looks for a second, then he might come over to do the damage. And the AWP will find another. The good thing about Vietnam, they've got a couple of different players who are more than happy to wield the AWP, and comfortably too.
Yeah, and a map like Dust 2, what a luxury that is to have that kind of talent. So they're going to be exploiting it to the maximum. Both the AWPs stay alive. They even get to upgrade into an AK. So that's all really good. And again, the fact that there aren't really that many bomb plants happening right now for Brunei is a problem that accumulates over time, right? Like you're missing the $800 bonus every single round. And one round, sure, it's not going to make a difference, but over the course of a half, suddenly it's a lot of money that you're missing out on, and it could be an extra buy or two down the road. So at this stage, they're going to need to do a little bit more. We've got a football in play. I know you watch football, Neo, so you know what's
Massive
going on.
fan.
I don't know anything about it, so
I'll sum it up nice and easily for you. Cristiano Homelander Ronaldo had an absolute stinker last night, so that was the main thing.
I'm hearing rumors that Denmark got cheated out of a goal or something.
Yeah, welcome to English referees. I'm sorry, the one good thing about it is that the two games where there's been a massive VAR conversation or whatever, both times it was the English refereeing team that's done it. So now people can understand our pain and misery with the Premier League and our incompetent referees. So welcome to what we've got. Sora, Prodigy, that puts around, put to bed nice and easily. But yeah, the Euro's on. We are getting now to the quarterfinals, I think. So it's getting through it. England scraped the win, 95th minute equalizer, then scored in extra time to win. So we did not deserve that at all. Denmark, honestly, you played actually pretty well. You're pretty unfortunate. Yeah, you kind of got cheated. Your manager was pretty clear about it. Yeah, English referees, man. Everyone's going to experience it. We get it week in, week out with the Prem. So I'm glad people now know our pain.
Oh, that is a nice shot. KG trying to make a run up through the middle, but there was not waiting. As soon as he throws the grenade, he's dead. Catching it mid-air. Well done on the T side. Makes it a 4 versus 5 here. And yeah, they slow it down afterwards. And I don't really blame them. You see one CT running down the middle like that, my thought would be there's probably another one, and there will be. It's different on the CT side of the double doors in the middle. He's dead as well, so good AWPing coming out right now. Makes it a 5 versus 3. It's not a locked-in round. You can still find a way to lose this. So they got to work together here to try and find the right path. Trying to get out into the middle, but they're going to run into Prodigy. Still very, very accurate with that weapon. Oh, what?
Okay, all right.
Through the jaw, he's getting him. He's absolutely wild in this round.
Now holding as well. Casper gonna get one for free. Oh, it's labored, and Sora actually managed to 180 him. It's still a big ask here, though. Prodigy 1v3 and an AWP. I don't know. This one's going to be a possibility. Nearly got a chance of denying the bomb. He's going to try and kukli this. Oh, God, he gets close as well. I think now just save the AWP, though, if you can.
You can tell how confident he is. He when he runs up to the bomb site, he doesn't even check the short position. He's like, I don't care. If someone's there, I'm going to die anyway. So he's just focused on the site itself. But that actually turns out to be a quad kill at the end. So really, really impressive stuff there. 6-3 the scoreline, and moving in around number 10 here. But that was, like, especially the shot through the wall. My God, like, who would have expected this? He sees there's the third shot, and I think he's going to get one more after that one. So really sick stuff. I got to say, well played.
Yeah, that shot again is absolutely ridiculous. Do you know what? This is the beautiful thing, though. With Brunei, I think there's a bit of an internal bias when you just look at match pages, right? And for me, we were both just looking at the match pages and being like, hey, you know, Brunei, they got, you know, only 10 rounds across 4 maps yesterday. Surely this is going to be a massacre. It's not. Brunei are crisp. They actually hit some nice shots. I got to give them a hell of a lot of credit, in all fairness. I'm pleasantly surprised. We've got a bit of a competition here. Vietnam are a decent side themselves, and they're still being made to work in each and every round. So, opening double, though. Let's go the way of Vietnam. So they're answering right back with, you know, fairly respectable sort of firepower themselves as Casper and Conan get caught early.
Ooh, not quite ready. I think maybe making a little bit too much noise, and maybe didn't have the AK quite ready for that fight. So a couple of them fall at the start of it here. And the AWP on the Brunei side not able to make the same impact that it did in the previous round. So just one player left, unable to answer back. So great survivability there on the Vietnam side. They extend their lead into 7-3, but I think even more impressively, they just keep so many people alive that they're going to have so much money to work with. And that's, you know, a huge part of the game, obviously. So Brunei, they have to chew through a lot more here. And we're sort of nearing the end of the half. I think Vietnam are going to be fine no matter what happens.
Yeah, realistically, we've got to look at this now. And for Brunei, if you can get, I always say bare minimum of 4 is workable. 5 is very good. 5 means, you know, you get a pistol and the game's basically tied back up, right? But 4 rounds it's feasible. It's definitely not easy, but it's better than nothing. You get a pistol, you get the force buy, then all it takes is 1 gun round, rather than the other side, which is you go down 8-4 and you lose the pistol. We're talking about basically potentially you go 10-4. So can be tough. Can be a little dicey. We'll see, though. For now, 7-3. Vietnam still, for the most part, look, you know, as crisp, as relentless as they did yesterday in both of their matchups against, of course, Malaysia and Thailand. And a side that you really can't sleep on when they play this sort of level of Counter-Strike. But a slow one here from Brunei. They're just testing the waters, not going too quick.
Well, think about the round that they had previously with the quad kill AWP shot. A lot of those shots were from very aggressive CTs, and why not wait around? If they're gonna come and be aggressive, you might as well just wait to see. But this time it's a little bit more subdued from Vietnam. Attempted throw with the Molotov there. Probably you can set up a smoke in front of yourself if you really, really want to throw that grenade. You can make sure that you're not gonna get sniped that easily. A little bit of a risk taken, and he got punished for it as well. Now they're trying to make their way out long. I think it's Sora that's holding the actual long corner, but they throw a flash to try and get around it. So far, so good. They actually do flash their way out. Prodigy's in the middle, but he's not going to see anyone yet. It's out long where the real fight's going to be happening, and they will trade that kill right away. So now you just need to keep the pressure on. Try and get up to the bomb side as soon as you can. Just one player left in Casper. It's a 1 versus 3 for him. Trying to tap away, but he runs out of bullets at the end. And it will be Vietnam picking up round number 8 here.
Yeah, not too bad. That's now for Vietnam. But they can sit here and say, hey, this is pretty good. We're more than happy with what we see. We've got ourselves into a position now of 8 round at the bare minimum. It's a good, healthy lead. Even if in the worst case scenario, they lose this final round of the half, I don't think they're going to be too annoyed with this. This is a pretty solid kind of spot they put themselves in. On a CT side of Dust 2 as well, very good foundations they've built up. This is a map in which lends quite heavily towards quite aggro T-side plays, which is Vietnam's bread and butter. And that's where you maybe expect them to continue this sort of reign of terror right now of this brilliant level of Counter-Strike. This shot with the AWP, KG going to fall a little bit caught in no man's land there, in all fairness, and Jaeger gets a freebie, but Sora will answer back.
Yeah, at least trade the kills there. That's always important. Prodigy, I think he got spotted out, so a little bit of a smoke being put up. We'll try and put some pressure on him. Keep him occupied for a while, which is, I think, one of the benefits of the smokes anyway. You know, he got 20 seconds almost where you can run around and do something else. He's still at the back of the plateau of the B-bomb site, but they're going to lose a fight out long, and Different will spot them out. Oh, this is so much pressure from the other side as well. Different with 2 headshots because they were turned around looking for Sora, who was making his way out long, and he's going to get the headshot just running down the last players. So a 9-3 first half here in favor of Vietnam is really convincing.
It is, and you got 3 players on double-digit kills. I mean, we're looking at this in a pretty positive note. I think for Vietnam, they've done everything that we've kind of asked of them. Maybe the pistol round didn't start as well, and the force by around that, but you know, the bulk of the gun rounds are very clean. And funnily enough, that was actually the story for Vietnam against Malaysia, against Thailand yesterday. They couldn't win pistol rounds, but the gun rounds actually where they did all their damaging work and where they really stepped up to the plate. So, you know, it's just continuing the same trend here. You know, maybe the expectations even that Brunei will take this pistol round, because Vietnam, it seems to be the one real weakness on their side. But we'll take a look and see. I think for Brunei, if they get a pistol, there's maybe something to work with here. If they don't, I think we can probably start to say maybe beginning of the end. First fight, though, Sora goes 1-for-1 with Axeter, who doubles down as he looks for 3.
Yeah, I do like that as well. Instead of reloading, just picks up another USP, but the fight kind of went away from him. But still, they're in a one-man lead. Regrouping down the middle, it looks like, for Vietnam. Yeah, they want to try and go back there, see if they could get something done.
Good question now about where do Vietnam actually want to finish here. They're going to go for a swinging towards mid. I'm not a huge fan of this about the smoke. Leaves you exposed, and yeah, KG going to fall. And they're going to swing off the back of it too. This is not the place to play here. If you don't have a CT smoke, it's not even worth testing those waters. Back towards tunnels. 50 seconds to make a decision.
Yeah, they got a little bit of time here, but they're going to be careful. Prodigy not really able to capitalize. Could have died, I think, if they'd swung on him last go around. Oh, nice headshot. You're right. These pistol rounds really not the best for Vietnam at the moment. And you never know what can happen behind this. I mean, it's at least going to give a chance for Brunei to get something established in the second half. Whereas if Vietnam win this round, I mean, obviously, they've almost won the map. KJ on his own, and it's a 1 versus 4. He's trying to walk in towards the bomb side, but they're making themselves quite hard to find. It's a nice headshot to begin with. See if he can at least get the bomb planted. That, again, would go a real long way to getting a better second round for them. He's trying to see if he can punch in the digits, and he's going to be able to. That's a huge victory. You're in a 1 versus 4. You get the bomb planted. I'll count that as a win.
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, I mean, it's still, at least for me, the slight issues there about Vietnam's pistol rounds. I honestly just think they get lost. I think they just don't have a true strat in their head. I mean, for me, it's always a little bit of a damning sign when you see 2 guys swinging out through doors into mid when you've got no CT smoke or no long smoke either. I mean, you've got to kind of take a bit of a peek here. Are you going to stop that guys peeking from window on B fighting you, or are you going to stop the CT guys fighting? And I think when you're taking those long-range drills, when you've got the Glocks, it's never a good sign. Vietnam, it's their one weakness they've got in their game. I think everything outside of that is very, very good. Just for them, pistols seem to be where things look a little dicey. Molotov comes down, but different. We'll get a kill. The only AK in this round and starting off well.
Yeah, the hero AK. We know it can be dangerous. We'll see if Brunei are able to stand up to it here. Smokes for the cross, or at least 1 smoke landing. Oh, and they pick up another rifle. That's scary. Walking right for the smoke, Prodigy. That's such a bold move, but they still have. There's the second smoke for the cross. Some shots are ringing through right here, but yeah, he's going to have to do very well, and he gets spotted out instead. It's different to take him down, and suddenly it's a 4 versus 3. Axter just at the bomb site, trying to do something here. Nice headshot from Casper out long, but they're going to lose another player towards CT spawn. And it's a team kill as well, but it got the job done. So I guess who cares? 1 versus 2 at the end here as Vietnam looking to steal this round away.
Yeah, they don't even need to fight here, in all fairness, Vietnam. They know he's over towards Cat. And with an MP9, he's not winning any long-range duels. So Vietnam aren't set back. They love a force bite. First time out didn't work. Second time it does. T-side force bite is a different kettle of fish. Beautiful work. And that will be them locking in double digits. Why do they say that? Why do they say a different kettle of fish? Why is that even a saying? When do you have fish in kettle?
I actually don't know. I feel like whenever you look up some of those sayings, it always comes back to some really bizarre thing that you could have never guessed it, right? So
yeah,
I do like. Sometimes it is fun to look at the etymology of some of these things. Like it is interesting to know. We'll Google it at some point. Someone will tell us maybe in the chat.
I'm doing it right now. It says the phrase "a kettle of fish," which is also used in Northern England, Scotland. So, do you even use that phrase? I don't know. That actually I might have said an English phrase which I don't really use, but
it is probably more English. Yeah, I would assume. Yeah,
fair enough. And we'll come back to it. Difference fighting, and he's getting kills as well. There's actually no one else out towards long, so he can just kind of run all the way, and KJ gets the trade. So now they can barrel in towards his A site. Nice and simply, a P250 gonna try and fade the smoke here, but it's so dicey. And yeah, he gets spotted just as that smoke opens up. Bomb will go down. The round should be theirs in just a second once that bomb goes down.
Yeah, they're really making sure. And I think, 2 AKs there on the Brunei side. It's probably worth it to try and save those. Doing a little bit of damage here. Sora not realizing his legs were showing, but it shouldn't make a difference in the round. Again, they don't have any kit, and it's just very, very hard. They have to basically stomp the whole way to try and get there in time. All right, well, they're getting the fight that they want here, so this is a bit interesting. Easy enough kill on the first player, and KJ just trying to stay away. All right, he's going to get the last one there. I think he could have probably played it for time as well, but either way, it is an expensive round for Brunei. They will have a little bit of money in this round, but the worst part is Vietnam are at 11, so they're close to winning the map.
Yeah, I mean, now, bit by bit, we're just starting to see the side just really showcase how good they actually can be, how good in terms of their individual prowess. And I think that's a good thing for Vietnam. Sometimes when things go a little south, they can kind of rely upon that. Just individual angels. Nice and simple, nice and easy. 11-4. And yeah, I mean, they're going to go for a little bit of a lesser buy here. Oh my God, different. That's so aggro. And he actually still manages to get 2. That's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, and I think when the third player tries to swing to get him down while he's reloading, the rest of the team have kind of shown up. So all in all, this is a bit of a slaughter of a round, really. Just the one USP left. Going to get found in CT spawn. It's no issue as Vietnam get to 12 rounds here. Brunei, the road back. I don't know. They need to win 8 in a row to get this into overtime. It's not feeling very likely at the moment. They will have an AWP in this round, so I guess that's good news. But yeah, this is a tough break. Vietnam, once again, showing that they're a really, really competent team. Although I will say, Brunei are playing a lot better than I was expecting. I was a little bit worried that it was going to be, more of a catastrophe. But they have some individuals here that are fighting back against Vietnam.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But I think as well for Vietnam, I'm looking at the potential ramifications of that 3-way split. They need to make sure that they win these games cleanly. I think just having that round difference, that actually could be the make or break for them. So I think for Vietnam, I can understand why, I think they obviously realize they're a better side, maybe in terms of the individual mechanics, but they're not really chancing anything. They're not pulling any punches. They realize they actually need to make sure this is a clean one. So it could be the difference between them going towards Chengdu or not. KJ for 1, Prodigy for one of his own as well. And this might be the beginning of the end. There's difference adding to the tally. Casper has to pull off some heroics here and hang on, rounds on.
Yeah, might be a chance. Oh, that's a nice shot from Prodigy taking out Casper. 1 versus 1 all of a sudden. Still got a minute on the clock, and the bomb is up towards the A bomb site, so we know that he's going to have to show up at some point. The question is, can Jaeger find a way? He's kind of near the bomb, so you don't necessarily have to sit on top of the bomb. It's a mistake that people sometimes make. You can just kind of stay in the area of it. He's going to go and pick up a smoke, and out long. Has you heard anything? Oh, the timing is ridiculous. If he was a second earlier there, Prodigy, I think he finds him and just knows. So many grenades, though. And yeah, this is great work. Just smoke off, Molotov up any positions that you think he might be in, just to try and get this position. But it's not going to be making any difference. What a headshot. Jaeger will take him down. Nice triple. And another good round for Brunei, which they absolutely needed.
Yeah, man. Really, really did. Still alive. Still fighting. Still in this game. Do not count out Brunei just yet. However, Vietnam are back into it by themselves. No issues. And I think, you know, just as we were
maybe gaining a little bit of confidence off the back of how well things were going. We also got to see the double up setup coming out every once in a while. So yeah, the match had a little bit of everything, which is always good.
Yeah, exactly. I think, you know, it's one of those things for Vietnam. They actually have a pretty decent kind of book they can kind of dive into. The strats are pretty solid. They've got, yeah, like you said, the double up. They've got rifling core is very, very reliant on themselves, self-reliant in a sense, and very, very solid. So, I mean, honestly, a fun team to watch. They played good Counter-Strike yesterday. A big win over Thailand, a close loss over towards Malaysia. So they're a side that I want to keep an eye on. You know, if they were to make it towards LAN, I think they even could get a bit of a level up, a bit of a buff as well. But we'll see. This is all potentials. I mean, Malaysia still are the favourites. They're still 2-0, so we'll have to take a look and see. Brunei as well. It's not game over in this series just yet. They have got that Mirage that they can come into and try and set the tone. It's a map in which obviously they'll know it's just as classic as it gets. So maybe that's where they might find a little bit more comfort.
It's not out of the question for sure. I mean, like, if they can keep winning pistol rounds, right, that alone will get you some stretch of the way there. So, you know, win both the pistol and the second map. And then you just need to stop Vietnam from getting onto this kind of a roll where they're just winning, you know, 4 or 5 rounds in a row. That's never a good thing because it gives them so much money to work with. But it's not easy right now. Vietnam are a very confident team, to say the least. So, you know, I don't think it'll be an easy task. But still, yeah, like we've been saying, Brunei, definitely better than maybe the scorelines yesterday would have made you believe. So I think that's encouraging. That's good to see. Individually, I mean, Casper definitely was playing very well. Might have been the highlight player for them, I think, at the end of it.
Yeah, I gotta agree. I think Casper actually looked very solid. I think he's one of those guys who, at least the big thing we always kind of look towards is consistency, and I think he had a lot of that in sort of
they can brush up on, especially if they make it to LAN, right? That would be great.
Yeah, exactly. That would be the big thing. I think that would, I mean, I feel like that's the best kind of learning experiences on those kind of LAN environments. But right now, I think with the losses they've taken, it's probably impossible for Brunei, and it looks to be for Vietnam, it's going to be close, right? I think Malaysia's definitely the one they're going to be keeping an eye on. It's like they're looking at their own game, but they're definitely keeping their eye on maybe what's going on with the Malaysia-Thailand game. For now, though, ladies and gents, we're going to throw this one to a break. When we are back, we're heading towards map number 2, in towards Mirage. See you soon.